Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tim Wilmot here from Wizard Systems. Thanks for joining me today for our Workbooks Hangout session, as we call it. Just our regular series of short presentations focusing on different topics in and around workbooks. And today I'm going to cover the Enrich feature. Now, this presentation will be fairly short, 10 minutes or quarter of an hour or so in duration. It's a pretty unsophisticated, uncomplicated part of workbooks. Doesn't require any sort of training as such. But our company, we do offer extensive workbooks training services. I'll mention a training course we got on the go next week for you towards the end of this call. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only. Your microphone is on mute. Don't worry about any background noises your end. If you've got any questions, please type those into the question box. I'll do my best to answer those at the end of the call. In and around any questions in and around what we're going to be talking about today, the Enrich feature, but any workbooks questions, generally, I'll be able to field those as well. After the call, or at the end of the call, I will also give an update on any workbooks news for you, just to keep you up to date, keep in the loop with any workbooks product news. And you will get a link to the recording of this call about a day or so after the end of the presentation. You'll get a link to the recording, which you can play back at your leisure, and we'll most likely pop it up on our YouTube channel as well. So let's get started. As I normally do, or as we normally do, just a brief mention about ourselves. I think most people on the call are familiar with us. All we do is CRM. We've been doing it a long time. We've implemented well over 3,000 CRM installations all over the UK. And with workbooks, of course, it's a cloud application. You can pretty much do a lot of things yourself, but we're here on hand to help you if you need any assistance with any part of the system, any implementation, customization, integration with other applications. We do offer a wide range of services there. And also training. Training can be at your place or our place. We're based near Bristol, or we can do online training as well, any aspect of workbooks. And finally, help desk support with our friendly, responsive help desk service. So, the Enrich feature, which some of you may be familiar with, you may have stumbled across it, you may even be using it right now in your workbook system. So this is a part of workbooks. It comes with workbooks. Basically, when you take a lead, or you have a person's record in front of you, or an organization, a company record in front of you, when workbooks thinks it's got enough information to go on to do an enrich, it will go out to the web and try and locate freely available information out there, which can then populate that information back into different fields on that workbook's record, whether it be a lead, a person, or an organization. Now, this is generally speaking, so we'll do a search throughout the web and on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Of course, LinkedIn is quite important from a B2B point of view. And think of it like an elaborate phone book going through all of these different social platforms. And it will, because it's orientated towards business, it will not search any personal information, for example, home addresses, that sort of thing. It's going to focus on company or commercial information. It will only search personal information where that person has freely given it on one of those platforms I mentioned. So it's going to populate records back in workbooks. It can also be used, and this is quite a nice feature of the Enrich capability. It can be used for a domain search. So like a website address of a company, you can do a search on that, or an email address search, where it will then find the information relevant to that domain or that person's email address, and then prompt you to create an organization or a person record. Now, this Enrich feature is using licensed technology from a company called Full Contact. It's a subset of full contact. If you look them up on the web, fullcontact.com, you can see all the other stuff that they do. And if you actually subscribe to what, the full complement of what Full Contact does, it can be, well, one of their subscriptions, it starts from $500 per month. So you're getting good value for this sort of search capability in workbooks. It is part of your subscription. There's nothing extra to pay for. So what's it specifically going to pop back into workbooks from that Enrich search? Well, this table shows you the three main record types that it's focusing on and the different fields. You even find photos if there are available photos out there on the web. So great search facility, enriching the information that it provides for you on different social platforms. And it can be very difficult or time consuming to do different searches in all those different platforms: a Google search, a LinkedIn search, a Twitter search, trying to find that person's Twitter ID. Can be quite consuming, particularly for common names. So this can save you a lot of time as well and provide valuable information to your relationships with your contacts and organizations and customers. So let's take a look at this feature in a little bit more detail. So we'll pop into workbooks here, and if I do a search for well, let's do a search for Atlantic as a company name. And then within that company record, within that organization record, let's click on people. And we have a number of contacts there. Let's click on John, for example, John Cheney. And there we are. There's that enrich button. When Workbooks thinks it's got enough information to go on, and normally that, in my experience, normally that does need to include a company email address. There it is down there. The user can click on enrich, and it's going to find all this freely available information out there on the web, including a nice sort of bio on that person as well that could be useful. But if I just scroll down here, we found a LinkedIn profile, we found a Facebook profile, a Twitter profile, address if there wasn't one on the record as well. So I can click apply down here at the bottom, and that will quickly apply that to that record. So I just scroll down John Cheney's person record. There we are. We've got all the information provided for us down there. And if I just expand out the person biography, we've got that bio all filled in there as well. What's more, any changes to this record, you can then do another enrich search against this record type to revalidate that information. So if I remove John Cheney's record here and, for example, just popped in my own here quickly, wizard-systems.com, save this record, and then just give it a few seconds to show me this enrich button again. Click on that again. So yes, it's found some more information for Tim Wilmot, but do you see here, it's prompting the user for what information do you want to replace against the current person's record. So there's John's old information, there's my information. So if I wanted to, I could select those individually or en masse and apply that to the record. So that's the nice search, enrich, find it against a person's record, organization record, or a lead record as well. Very, very useful against the sales lead record where maybe you don't know too much about that contact, their address, location, bio that person, look up their LinkedIn profile. Yes, as I said, you can do those individual searches, but this is going to save you a tremendous amount of time in one operation. Now, the other way of using this Enrich feature is with a domain search or an email address search. So if I pop back to the start button here and pop in a domain name, for example, well, I'm from Bristol, so let's type in ardman.com, for example, as in Ardman Animations. And if I click on the search button there, well, it's not in my database, but there we are in yellow there. It's found something out on the web, so I can click on that and it will populate a new organization record for me with the company name, a company switchboard phone number, the address of the client. We found a company Facebook profile, Twitter profile as well. I could then I could then do an email address search as well. So if I typed in, let's just click in there and typed in peter.lord, which I know is a valid address for Peter at Ardman. Again, click on search. He's not in my database, but in that yellow highlighted area, I can now create that sales lead or that person record. And there we found Peter's own individual information. And there it all is there, including a Twitter profile. I can click on that. And then it displays more information about that contact. So maybe some quite useful information, fairly up-to-date information. It's all freely available. Try it, use it in your workbook system if you haven't done so already, and give us some feedback on how you're getting on. You might also want to look at the Full Contact website just to see all the other stuff they do there, and you can see the elements that have been licensed for use within the workbooks application. So there you are, the Enrich feature. So as we normally do on this Hangout session, we're quite open to answer any questions you may have around this feature. So question from Mariam, I think I got your name right. Mariam, is there any limit to the number of searches you can do? That's a good question. I'm not aware of any limits there, Mariam. I believe it's unlimited. Darla, I noticed the Enrich button disappears after a search. How can I get it back? It would only, in my experience, it would only disappear if it hasn't got enough information to go on, and that primarily, well, the main searches are going to be on a phone number, primarily a company, a business email address. Those are the main things, Darla, that could be the reason why it might have disappeared from one of those record type screens. Harris, I see Full Contact supports Twitter search. Does Enrich do that also? Yes, it does. Well, actually, you mean so you've actually got a Twitter ID already, and you want to then find, so you put the Twitter ID into a person's record, for example, and then you're doing a search on that. You may not have the email address. Maybe not, Harris. I need to check that myself, but maybe not. I think the company email address is the main thing is going to go on. So I hope that answers your question there. Right, don't think there's any more questions coming through. If any more late questions come through, I will answer those separately via email. Oh, a question from Steve. How does accessing this information comply with current GDPR regulations, as the people you're identifying have possibly not given their consent to have their details retained? Good question, Steve. There's a couple of resources for you. Let me just pop back into my screen here. So first of all, there is the agreement, the terms of service, that it's like a little sort of subset of your agreement with Workbooks using their service. So that might give you a bit more information there on privacy matters. Also, I mentioned that this technology has been created by a company called Full Contact. And on their website, in their privacy section here, Steve, there are some GDPR FAQs. So that so go to put my teeth in. Go to fullcontact.com, the privacy section there, and hopefully that will answer your questions. But please let me know if it doesn't. Okay, so just a little bit more information on some workbooks news for you. We do have a workbooks advanced course here next Tuesday, the 12th of March. If you've got anyone that wants to go to the next level with workbooks, so this is going beyond the sort of day-to-day use of workbooks, going into customizing workbooks, reporting, importing data, that sort of thing. So please contact us if that's of interest. If you're not able to make it on the day, we do provide any level of training online, or our trainers can come to you if that's more convenient for you. In January, there was a new release of workbooks. If you keep an eye out for any bulletins from workbooks, then you will see the January release. There's some very nice reporting improvements. For example, on a pie chart, you could click on a segment of a pie and it will sort of expand out and allow you to drill down on the data relating to that segment. That's quite nice. And nice reporting enhancements. The big one for me though are custom records. So you can create a custom record type. If you wanted some tab against a company record to display product information or hobbies or whatever it might be, you can create your own record type. This is an optional extra. It's an extension to the workbooks, the main workbook subscription, so it does cost a little bit extra. It's an extra £54 per user per year. Now, it needs to be licensed for all users. If you've got a 5-user workbook system, you've got to subscribe to 5 extension of the custom record type. But this is a very powerful addition to workbooks, and not many other CRM systems have this ability to create custom record types. You're fixed within the data structure of what they provide, and this is giving you tremendous flexibility now. And extending the capability of workbooks further to track different types of information against companies or people. So if you want any further explanation of that, take a look at the bulletin. You will have access to your bulletins from your start menu in workbooks, and you probably, if you have subscribed, you will be getting regular emails from our colleagues at workbooks on these later releases. So custom records, really nice extension to the workbooks family. We have noticed that some users may be, or some companies may be using the older style interface. So what I've been showing today is obviously a new interface. I'm sure most of you on the call will be aware of this. So if my interface, if my screen layouts didn't match yours, you're probably using the older one, and you may be losing out on some usability benefits. So please check that out. On the marketing front, workbooks are going to be exhibiting, if you're in the London area, Excel London, there's a B2B marketing expo, lots of different vendors there. Workbooks, my colleagues at Workbooks will be there as well. That's the 27th or 28th. Look up the B2B marketing expo at Excel and pop along and say hello. So that's it for the call today. Thanks very much for your time. My name again is Tim Wilmot. If you've got any questions about workbooks, any additions, training, please contact us. If you've got any ideas for future workbooks hangout sessions, something of general appeal that would be of interest to the workbooks community at large, please let me know. tim@wizard-systems.com. But watch out for the email with the link to the recording for today. But thanks very much for your time. Those people that asked some questions, thanks very much for your involvement, and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.